Hello everyone and welcome to my monthly vlog. This vlog is usually about things I've been talking about with clients at Magenta, but for the most of this month I've been in the USA touring the Deep South. I thought you'd still like to hear from me, so instead of financial content, this month I'll share a little bit of what I've been up to. Hopefully it'll inspire some travel lovers out there. So 2.5 weeks ago, my parents and I flew to Florida. We started in Florida because we have lifelong friends there. Mum started writing to a pen pal arranged at school when she was 11, and they first met face to face at age 22. They've remained firm friends across all the miles, and she's my godmother. She's also the person I'm named after. We spent a few days in Florida and swam in the sea and enjoyed lovely fresh seafood. I met up with some friends I've made via Twitter as well. They are travelling the USA in what's called a tiny house. They sold their home when one of them retired and custom built a 350-foot tiny house on wheels. Their cats live with them too. I'll drop you a link in the notes for the video about the house when it was made, as it's hard to explain how cool it is. After a few days of getting over the jet lag, we started our journey northwest to New Orleans. New Orleans is loud, brash and unapologetic about it. If you want lively, you have it. We stayed in a great boutique hotel called the Benville House, which was in a good location for everything. I loved the winding pathways, the cool shops and the French market. We listened to some jazz and people watched from the balcony. From New Orleans, we then moved on to Memphis via a small town of Natchez. Natchez was a prominent city in the antebellum years, a centre of cotton planters and Mississippi River trade. It's also famous for the Natchez Trace Parkway. The Natchez Trace Parkway is a 444-mile recreational road and scenic drive through 3 states. It roughly follows the old Natchez Trace, a historical travel corridor instrumental in the Civil War. Memphis is all about music. We saw Graceland, Sun Studios and live music on Beale Street. I was more moved than I thought I would be at Graceland, as everyone had warned us it was just tacky, but I thought it was fantastic. Sun Studios is also something special. You can feel the history. It's known worldwide as the birthplace of rock and roll. It is the discovery location of musical legends like B.B. King, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis. Our next city was Nashville, which was on my must-do, as I'm a massive country music fan. En route, however, we stopped at Franklin for some Civil War history. The Second Battle of Franklin was fought on the 30th of November 1864 in Franklin, Tennessee, as part of the Franklin-Nashville campaign of the American Civil War. It was one of the worst disasters of the war, and in 5 hours there were over 10,000 casualties. The Carlton plantation that we visited was turned into a field hospital in this battle, and you can still see some bloodstains on wooden floors. In comparison to this sobering history, downtown Nashville on Broad Street is like a mix of central Amsterdam and Las Vegas combined. It's a full-on hen parties, stags and birthdays, all drinking and dancing on open carriages drawn by tractors, buses and cycles, you name it. And of course, Nashville is about boots and hats. If you're not wearing cowboy boots, denim shorts and a Stetson, then you are the odd one out. My comfy Birkenstocks made me feel considerably underdressed. We visited the Johnny Cash Museum, which was great fun, as we're big fans, and Jackson, my nephew, is named after one of his most famous songs. Our highlight was going to the Grand Ole Opry though. Wow. The music was fantastic and the sound was such good quality. What I didn't appreciate is that the Opry is still live on the radio every Friday night. So the DJ does a live show and it's on air as you watch. And if you get the chance to do it, I highly recommend it. And that brings us to our current stop in Georgia. We're in a little place called Covington, just outside Atlanta. We're here because we wanted a quiet few days to rest before we fly home, but also because we're staying at this amazing B&B called 12 Oaks. For those who've read Gone with the Wind, this is named after the Wilkes plantation home, and it feels like we're in the South as you imagine it when you're reading it. Covington is known as the film town, home to locations from The Dukes of Hazzard, In the Heat of the Night, and most recently The Vampire Diaries and Sweet Magnolias, along with 140 other films. It's a thriving town, and we're really enjoying walking to the square in the evenings, the warm nights, and seeing all the amazing antebellum homes. Today and tomorrow are our last few days in the USA, and it's been a great trip. Here's a few things I've reflected on though as I've travelled. I feel blessed to live in a country where women's rights are generally well respected and we have choice. The current political situation in the USA is more polarised than ever before, and I've heard several Americans say it wouldn't take much for another civil war to begin. It's scary to see the backward steps that seem to be happening with women's rights. I can't advocate enough that if you have the opportunity to forge friendships with people in different countries, try and do it. For my mum, this was via her letters with her pen pal Gretchen from a young age. And for me, it's via social media, sharing the love of cats. But both friendships have opened up opportunities for us that we never would have had if we weren't open to building friendships. I've now met cat people via Twitter in New York, Japan, Canada, Holland and Florida. The last 2 years have been a challenge for all of us, but if you can, this year, grab the opportunity to do something new and experience amazing things. I hope you've enjoyed this. Next month, I'll be back talking about financial planning topics, so I'll see you then.